Located in the heart of Europe, the Hungarian people have a rich, complex history that has significantly shaped the region over the centuries. Despite being surrounded by Indo-European speaking populations, Hungarians are one of the few European groups that speak a language that is not part of the Indo-European family. The origins of the Hungarians have long been a subject of fascination and debate, with their identity and history often misunderstood and mythologized. Are they the descendants of the Huns, or perhaps a lost tribe of the Finns? This article delves into the intricate and fascinating history of the Hungarians, exploring their ancient roots, migrations, and the cultural influences that have shaped their unique identity. The name Hungary might seem to suggest a connection to the Huns, the fierce warriors who ruled Europe in the 4th and 5th centuries. Medieval Hungarians themselves believed that they were related to these earlier nomads who had settled in the Pannonian Basin, where modern-day Hungary is located. However, the origins of the name Hungary are not as straightforward as they seem. Some theories suggest that the name derives from the Onogars, a Turkic group linked to the Bulgars, who migrated westward and established the old state of Bulgaria. However, the Hungarian language does not belong to the Turkic family, complicating the theory of direct descent from the Onogars. The name that Hungarians use to describe themselves is Magyar, and their country is called Magyarország, the term of Uralic origin and linguistically linked to Finnish and Estonian, but more closely related to the Ugrian languages spoken in Siberia. Even today, the Mansi and Khanty languages are spoken by around 30,000 people in the Khanty-Mansi Autonomous Okrug of the Russian Federation. Early Russian records refer to the people of this origin as the Ugri, a term that bears a striking resemblance to the ancient name Hungary used for the Hungarians. The ancient historian Herodotus may have been the first to record the name of these people as Urugi. The Ugric people were originally forest dwellers who began moving out of the Siberian forests and onto the steppes during the Bronze Age. This migration marked a significant shift in their way of life, leading them to adopt a more nomadic and warlike existence. They interacted with early Indo-European peoples who influenced their culture and language, notably the Tocharian people, an eastward moving Indo-European group related to the Yamnaya culture, introduced the Ugrians to horses and new counting methods, leaving traces of Indo-European words in the Hungarian language. Words such as love, which is horse, and other terms related to pastoralism were integrated into their vocabulary, demonstrating the depths of this cultural exchange. Recent genetic research has provided further insight into the complex ancestry of the Hungarians. A 2022 study led by Zoltán Marotti examined the genetic origins of Huns, Avars, and early Hungarians, revealing a rich tapestry of European and Asian ancestries. The study found that the original Magyar conquerors of Hungary possessed a plurality of the N3A L708 Y chromosome haplogroup, which is associated with Ugrian peoples from the Ural region. This haplogroup made up about 37.5% of the Magyar conqueror population. Additionally, other significant haplogroups included G2A L156, common among Caucasian and Iranian-speaking peoples, and R1A Z93, linked to ancient East Iranian ancestry. The genetic evidence points to the early Magyars being a diverse and mixed population that absorbed various cultural and genetic influences as they migrated westward. Between 200 and 300 CE, the Magyars integrated genetically and culturally with surrounding groups, including the Sarmatians, Scythians, and Huns, during a period marked by significant geopolitical shifts. The Magyars' extensive contact with Iranian-speaking peoples profoundly influenced their language. Many Hungarian words related to everyday life and steep lifestyle are of Iranian origin, indicating prolonged interaction with Iranian cultures. For an example, the Hungarian word for tent, sator, derives from the Indo-Iranian word meaning covering. Similarly, key terms related to pastoralism and animal husbandry, such as tahin, that is related to cow, tej means milk, and hus means meat, also trace back to Iranian roots. The Magyars' adoption of this steep lifestyle is further evidenced by their military terminology. While the word for or bow is native to Uralic, the word for sword card, shares origins with Persian and Ossetian languages. This linguistic blending highlights the deep cultural exchanges that occurred as the Magyars moved through the Eurasian steppes, borrowing not only words but also the nomadic practices and technologies of their neighbors. Medieval myths about the origins of the Magyars often intertwine with historical and genetic realities. One notable myth recounts the Magyars' descendant from Menroth, a giant who was the son of Japheth and built the Tower of Babel. After the fall of the tower, Menroth settled in Persia and fathered two sons, Hanor and Magyar, who became the progenitors of the Huns and Magyars, respectively. This myth reflects the Hungarians' historical memory of their connections to both Iranian and Hunnic ancestries. Genetic studies support these medieval narratives, showing that the Magyars were indeed closely related to Iranians and Huns, as well as other groups of the Ural forest steppe region. The blending of Ugric, Sarmatian, and Scythian and Hunnic lineages with the Magyar genetic pool corresponds to the historical migrations and cultural exchanges described in ancient texts. The earliest known historical account of the Hungarians may be found in the works of the Herodotus, who described a people called the Urkai living north of the Scythians near the Volga River. This geographical placement aligns with later medieval accounts of the Magyar homeland in the Ural region, where they interacted with various steppe cultures. The Magyars' long association with the Ural region is further supported by Byzantine sources, which often refer to them as Turks, a term used loosely by Greek and Roman historians to describe steppe peoples. This misidentification likely stems from the work of the Roman geographer Pomponius Mela in the 1st century CE, or referred to people called the Turkai living north and east of the Sea of Azov. It appears that Mela may have mistakenly equated the Ugri with the Turks, a misconception that persisted throughout medieval historiography. This error led to the Magyars being consistently grouped with Turkic-speaking populations. Despite their distinct linguistic heritage, the persistence of this misleading underscores the challenges of tracing the precise movements and affiliations of ancient peoples, especially in regions as ethnically diverse and fluid as the Eurasian steppes. The Magyars' early religious beliefs were shaped by a combination of Uralic traditions and steppe influences, as described by the traveler Ibn Rusta. The Magyars worship fire, reflecting an influence from Zoroastrian practices, though their beliefs were far more complex than simple fire worship. Like many steppe cultures, the Magyars practiced animism, venturing natural spirits associated with trees, rocks, and springs. Central to Magyar spirituality was the division of the cosmos into 3 levels: the upper world, inhabited by the god above; the middle world, home to humans and various spirits; and the underworld, ruled by dark forces. This belief system, which closely mirrors the cosmology of the Mansi people, included reverence for totem animals and shamanistic practices, such as the ritual journeys of the Taltus, the Magyar shaman priests. The Magyars also held deep respect for their ancestral spirits and totem animals, which were believed to have divine origins. The myth of Amis, the mother of Arpad, who was visited by a sacred bird in a dream, reflects this tradition of divine progeny, linking the ruling family of Hungary to a celestial lineage. Such beliefs, while later suppressed by Christianity, reveal a rich tapestry of spiritual and cultural traditions that help define the Magyar identity. By the 9th century, the Magyars had become a formidable military force on the steppes, known for their highly mobile cavalry and sophisticated tactics. Descriptions from Emperor Leo VI highlighted their prowess in battle, noting their use of surprise attacks, deception, and strategic disruptions of enemy supply lines. The Magyars wore armor, carried bows, swords, and lances, and frequently armored their horses, tactics that closely resembled those of their Turkic and Scythian neighbors. Driven westward by the Pechenegs, the Magyars crossed the Carpathian Mountains and entered the Pannonian Basin, where they established their new homeland. This migration was part of a broader movement of steppe peoples in Europe, triggered by the decline of the Khazar Empire and pressure from other nomadic groups. As the Magyars settled in Pannonia, they continued their raiding and warfare traditions, clashing with European powers and solidifying their presence in the region. Despite their turbulent history and myriad influences that shaped their development, the Magyars have maintained a distinct cultural and linguistic identity that continues to define Hungary today. The Magyar language, though heavily influenced by Slavic, Germanic, and Turkic languages over the centuries, retains its Ugric core, a testament to the resilience of this ancient heritage. In modern Hungary, the descendants of the Magyar conquerors are blended into a diverse genetic landscape that reflects centuries of intermingling with various European and Asian populations. Yet, the cultural legacy of the Magyars endures, celebrated in Hungarian folklore, traditions, and the endant pride of the Hungarian people in their unique origins. The Hungarian people's origin are a rich tapestry shaped by interactions with Indo-European, Turkic, and Iranian cultures, from Siberian forests to Europe's heart. Their journey is marked by adaptation, survival, and cultural fusion. Despite historical challenges and ethnic blending, Hungarians have preserved a unique linguistic and cultural identity. This enduring heritage continues to shape Hungary today, reflecting the broader human experience of discovering and redefining one's place in the world.